Hello and welcome to another 5-9 gaming video. Today we'll be doing a retrospective of the entire Ratchet and Clank series in anticipation for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, coming out later this month. We'll be diving into each title's reception and story. There's a total of 16 Ratchet and Clank games released, but we'll be sticking strictly to the core console games. If you enjoyed the nostalgia trip, make sure to leave the video a like and let us know what your favorite game in the series is down in the comments, and subscribe to stay in the know of everything we do here at 5-9. Now with that out of the way, let's get this retrospective started. The first game in the series, Ratchet and Clank, released on November 2nd, 2002. With this being the first entry, many people were excited to see Insomniac's new IP on the PlayStation 2. The developer ended up having a hit. The reviews for the game were phenomenal. Metacritic gave the game a score of 88 out of 100, while the public gave the game an astounding 8.8 out of 10, cementing that the series would be a mainstay for the PlayStation 2. The story starts off on planet Quartu, where a defective but intelligent robot escapes and crash lands on Veldin. A Lombax named Ratchet finds the robot, and when it awakens, he tells the Lombax that he has to stop the plans of Chairman Drek. When Ratchet asks the robot's name, it gives him a serial number instead. Not being satisfied with calling him by a number, Ratchet names him Clank. We then find out that Chairman Drek's plan was to make a new home planet for his people called the Blargs, after their war was overpopulated and polluted. This plan to make a new planet ends up destroying the others in the process. Drek would take pieces of other worlds, cause them to become unstable, and blow up. To stop this, Ratchet and Clank seek the help of Captain Quark. They soon realize that Drek was actually paying Quark to help promote the chairman's new planet when it is made. Before escaping the duo, Quark trapped the two in his lair and they were forced to fight a Snaggle Beast, but it was ultimately defeated by Ratchet. Enraged by the betrayal, the duo liberated more planets from Drek's clutches. After entering a Bulgarian mood base, they meet Quark once again and fight him while he's on his ship. Ratchet and Clank defeat the fallen hero and move on to Drek. When they arrive on planet Quartu to end his schemes once and for all, they find out that Drek is going to use Ratchet's planet Veldin as part of his new homeworld, putting it in place of Veldin. Once they get on Veldin, they defeat Drek and save the planet. Ratchet then fixes Clank's arm and they cement their friendship from that point onward. Now, the second game in the series, titled Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, released on November 11th, 2003, to slightly higher acclaim than its predecessor's already high scores, receiving a 90 for critical reviews on Metacritic and an 8.9 for user scores, further proving that the Lombax and robot duo weren't going anywhere. Now, in the sequel to the first game, we find Ratchet and Clank in the Begone Galaxy, where the CEO of Megacorp, Abercrombie Fitzwidget, hires Ratchet to recover a biological experiment from a mass thief, while also offering Clank a job at Megacorp. Our heroes accept the CEO's offer, and before Ratchet is able to catch the thief, the culprit escapes and sends Ratchet a message showing that they had actually captured the Lombax's friend, Clank. Ratchet wastes no time in saving his partner from the clutches to the thief, and with the dynamic duo reunited, they pursue the thief across numerous planets, disposing of mercenary thugs. For less, they were hired to protect the thief. The two managed to recover the experiment on planet Siberius before the thief escapes once more. Ratchet contacts Fizzwidget, and the Megacorp CEO allegedly misled the two to a desert planet by accident, where they run into the thief yet again. The thief reveals himself to be a female Lombax named Angela Cross, who previously worked for Megacorp as a scientist. She tells the two that the experiment is a threat to the entire galaxy, and to prove it, she gave Ratchet and Clank the coordinates to the experiment's testing facility. After learning that Angela was telling the truth, the pair is contacted by the female Lombax, who informs them that Fizzwidget has duplicated the experiment and intends to sell them as a new product called the Protopet. After freeing Angela from the thugs, the boss then betrayed her for Megacorp. The three discovered Fizzwidget's true identity then. It turned out that Captain Quark took over Megacorp as Fizzwidget, holding the real CEO in a closet tied up. Quark planned to unleash the Protopet upon the galaxy and use a device created by Angela to defeat the threat, restoring his former reputation as a hero. When demonstrating the device's ability, it malfunctions, turning the original Protopet into a beast that swallows Quark. Ratchet and Clank save the fallen hero, and Angela fixes the device, sending a signal to all of the Protopets, neutralizing them in the process and once again restoring peace to the Begone Galaxy. The third game in the franchise, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, released on November 2nd, 2004. After the success of the second game in the series, Going Commando, many fans had hoped that the third game would be even better than the second, and guess what? They were right. The game had gone up for both Metacritic and user scores, receiving a 91 out of 100 for the site and a 9 out of 10 for users, almost scoring a perfect 10 across the board. Now, the story of Up Your Arsenal starts off with the two heroes in their penthouse playing chess. They receive word that planet Veldon is under attack by an army of Terranoids. Ratchet, now an officer in the Galactic Rangers, leads an assault to drive off the invaders, who seem to have some very high quality and sophisticated tech on hand. After their victory, they are told that the invaders' attack was ordered by Dr. Nefarious. The only person known to have ever defeated Dr. Nefarious is none other than Captain Qwark. Ratchet and Clank find him on a planet living with an indigenous tribe. There they meet the ranger, Captain Sasha, who is also tasked with helping Ratchet defeat Nefarious. After getting Qwark to regain his memory, Qwark creates the Q-Force, an elite squad that answers only to him, and tasks Ratchet, Sasha, and the Q-Force operative Skid McMarks to infiltrate Nefarious' base. They then find the map to Terranoid, where they defeat the Queen, and Nefarious mocks the Q-Force via transmission, allowing them to trace the Doctor to a factory on planet Drax. There, they learn that Nefarious made a device called the Bio-Obliterator, but have no clue how it actually works yet. They also find out that a famous star named Britney Gears made a song in which she instructs robots to destroy organic life forms. Clank meets up with Gears, but is rendered unconscious and is brought to Nefarious with the help of the pop star. Nefarious, knowing of Clank as a secret agent Clank from TV, asks if he would join Nefarious. Clank refuses, and Nefarious makes an evil clone of the robot named Clunk. Now, unaware that their mechanical friend had been switched, the Q-Force continued on with the missions with Clunk. During one mission, Skid is kidnapped and turned into a robot. Ratchet then defeats Skid's kidnapper, Courtney Gears, and they then lead and head to Nefarious' ship. On arrival, the Mad Doctor tells him it was a trap and blows up his ship. To save his fellow Q-Force members, Qwark sacrifices himself and the heroes escape as he perishes. After they hold a memorial for Qwark, Ratchet joins the Ranger forces to save Metropolis after finding out it was under attack. They then find out that Clunk was an evil clone. After defeating him, Clank returns to the party. Q-Force then finds out that Qwark actually faked his death and doesn't want to be a part of the battle anymore, so the remaining members go on to fight Nefarious. In the last battle, Qwark decides to come back and help Ratchet and Clank defeat Nefarious. The Doctor then teleports away on a deserted planet where he hasn't been seen for a long time. To celebrate the victory, the Q-Force goes on to watch the new secret Agent Clank movie. On October 25th, 2005, Ratchet Deadlocked was released to noticeably lower scores than the previous three installments, but still received generally favorable reviews. On Metacritic, the game got an 81 for critical reviews and an 8.8 from users. This title was a departure from the formula of the first three games, having a darker tone and removing Clank as a playable character entirely. The brunt of this game's criticism came from its repetitive gameplay and level design. Although it's had its fair share of flaws, some fans enjoyed the different tone and the title's focus on action. Now, in the fourth Ratchet and Clank title, we find our heroes soon after the events of Up Your Arsenal, with the duo along with the Big Al in charge of running Starship Phoenix. After receiving a message that numerous people have disappeared throughout the galaxy, the three find themselves attacked by a squad of robot troopers that overrun the ship and capture the group. They are then transported to the Shadow Sector, which is a lawless region of the Solana galaxy. Ratchet then gets acquainted with Gleamon Fox, the creator of the Dread Zone, a game show where contestants fight one another to the death. Ratchet is then forced to compete in the Dread Zone, for if he refuses, the Dread collar he now wears will explode if he doesn't cooperate. Ratchet is assigned two combat bots named Merc and Green, and the three form Team Darkstar, while Clank works as Ratchet's mission engineer. Ratchet competes in dozens of Dread Zone challenges, winning them one by one and becoming the show's most popular contestant. Vox pits Ratchet against the previous star of Dread Zone and defeats him as well. The Lombax is then rewarded with an audience with Vox, where he gives him a deal to be Dreadzone's superstar. When Ratchet declines, Vox sends the Lombax into an alleged unbeatable arena that he barely manages to win. Meanwhile, Clank comes up with a plan to escape as Ratchet finds out Vox has rigged the entire station where they are on to explode. Ratchet manages to defeat countless enemies and deactivates the explosions and explosives after apprehending Vox. Before Vox is able to blow up the station manually with Ratchet, Big Al swoops in and picks him up on an escape shuttle where Clank removes Ratchet's Deadlocked collar. The three escape as the station explodes with Vox, and in the game's credits, we see a cutscene with Dr. Nefarious and Lawrence, foreshadowing their involvement in the next installment. Now, in the fifth game in the mainline series, and the first of the Future saga, Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, released on October 23rd, 2007 on the new hardware that was the PS3. This installment went back to the series' old formula while still experimenting with new mechanics. It appeared that this was the approach that paid off, getting the game a game Metacritic score of an 80 out of 100 and users giving it an 8.8 out of 10. On Metropolis, Ratchet and Clank received a distress call from Captain Quark, and it went on their way to help him. After the battle that ensued, they are confronted by Emperor Percival Tachyon, who is the self-proclaimed king of the Kragmites. He gives Ratchet the option to sacrifice himself to save the city, but the duo manage to slip away on a private ship. After experiencing deep hypersleep, they wake up to find out that the Tachyon already conquered the neighboring planets. While investigating Cobalia, Clank finds out that he can see creatures called the Zoni, where they tell him that he is made for a purpose and give them new tools for Clank to help aid Ratchet. They run into Tailwind Apogee and her allies Kronk and Zephyr. She explains that her father Max was a leading explorer in Lombax technology and may know why they have disappeared. They soon find out about the Great War between the Lombaxes and the Kragmites. The war ended with the Lombax as the victors using a device called the Dimensionator, which sent the Kragmites to another dimension. Discovering more about the near-extinct race's history, they learn that on the planet Fastoon, the Lombaxes discovered a single Kragmite egg, and instead of sending it to its people, they decide to raise it as their own. The one that hatched from the egg was Tachyon, and after learning of his origins, he started a genocidal warfare on the Lombaxes. Unable to defeat him, the surviving Lombaxes used the Dimensionator to escape, leaving behind a Guardian and his son to hide from Tachyon. The Guardian then sacrificed himself to save his son, sending the Lombax to the planet Veldin to escape from Tachyon. Ratchet realizes that the Guardian was actually his own father and becomes even more determined to get the Dimensionator to free his people. Soon after acquiring the weapon, it becomes stolen by pirates run by a man named Captain Romulus Slag, but Ratchet and Clank get the device back. Quark then escapes the custody of Tachyon and takes the Dimensionator to the Kragmite home planet to destroy it, but is later recaptured by Tachyon with the device. On arriving at the planet, Tachyon gives Ratchet a chance to rejoin his people, but he refuses. The Lombax and his robot companion end up fighting Tachyon and destroying part of the weapon, opening up a black hole and sucking in Tachyon. They manage to repair the device, but they find out that it does not work anymore. The Zoni, now being seen by everyone, takes Clank against his own will to teach him of the true purpose in another dimension, where Ratchet vows to save his friend. Moving into the sixth game in the mainline series and the second in the Future saga, Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty released on August 21st, 2008 and was a relatively short game that sold at a cheaper price point. The game received a score of 76 out of 100 and a user score of only 7.3, one of the lowest in the series. Year after the events of Tools of Destruction, Ratchet and Tailwind find out that a legendary pirate was known to have a knowledge of how to communicate with the Zoni. Heading to his home planet of Murdergraw, the two slip on a pirate ship but are captured by his first mate, Rusty Pete, who reveals that he has been dead. Pete, disguised as Captain Slag, orders that they be marooned on Hulifer Island. After helping the island and the locals, Ratchet finds out about a way to communicate with the Zoni. Now, unfortunately, the way to do so is powered by a star that the Darkwater hid away before the mutiny that was caused by Slag. Pete joins Ratchet, and with the help of Slag's head, they find Darkwater's ship. Here, Pete places Slag's head back on his now resurrected body, revealing his plans to pillage the island, but is defeated by Ratchet and Talon. With the smugglers' help, they find the star, but is then taken by Slag, and they then take Talon's captive as well. After saving Talon and beating Slag once more, Ratchet takes the star to help him contact the Zoni. He finds out that Clank is losing his memory due to overexposure by Zoni energy, and they enlist the help of Dr. Nefarious to help Clank. Ratchet and Talon then set off to save him before it's too late. Leading to the 7th installment titled Ratchet and Clank Future: A Crack in Time, released on October 27, 2009, to favorable acclaim both critically and by fans. The game received an 87 for critics and an 8.9 for users on Metacritic. Praise for this title was particularly focused on its story, enhanced visuals, and refined gameplay. The narrator for this game answered more questions than any other game in the series, revealing what happened to the other Lombaxes, including Ratchet's family, along with Clank's true purpose and identity. In the epic conclusion to the Future Saga, our heroes would face a difficult choice, one that will remind them what really matters most. Now, picking up immediately where Quest for Booty left off, we find Dr. Nefarious with Clank, who was assigned by the Zoni to repair him. The Doctor shows his true intentions when the Zoni ask about his progress, revealing that the purpose of their partnership was to find the key to a room called the Orvis Chamber, which controls time. Nefarious then calls his robot forces on the Zoni that chase them away, and inadvertently allowing Clank to escape in the process. Clank eventually is cornered by Dr. Nefarious, who discloses that they are located in the center of the universe on the Great Clock, a construct made by the Zoni to keep time. At this same time, Ratchet and Quark crash land on planet Quantos in their search for Clank. Dr. Nefarious' personal assistant, Lord Volson, launches an assault on the planet looking to find someone by the name of Alistair Azimuth, mistaking them for Ratchet. Ratchet then saves Quark and the planet's inhabitants from Volson's worship with the help of the Zoni, deciding to venture off to find Azimuth, realizing he could be possibly an ally. Meanwhile, Clank is revived by Sigmund, the junior caretaker of the Great Clock. Sigmund has Clank help him restore temporal normalities across the universe by repairing temporal damage across multiple planets caused by Nefarious. Clank then meets a Zoni named Orvis, who speaks with Clank in a digital program in his subconscious, revealing that he is the creator and father, informing his son that the Great Clock would now be entrusted to his care. He meets the plumber that has appeared periodically throughout the series, cryptically giving Clank the message to not risk more than 6 minutes. Ratchet then finds Azimuth, who is revealed to be an exiled Lombax left behind when the rest of their race fled from the Tachyon's onslaught. Ratchet learns that Azimuth and his father were close friends, and he was partly responsible for the race's extinction, giving Tachyon Lombax technology, and was forced into exile as punishment. The two eventually arrive at the Great Clock after Ratchet and Clank defeat Nefarious. Clank tells Ratchet he must stay with the clock and fulfill his destiny. Azimuth tells Ratchet that he can use the clock's power to turn back time and save the Lombaxes, but Ratchet refuses, understanding that doing so would endanger the entire universe. Azimuth, outraged by his response, kills Ratchet and heads towards the Orvis Chamber. Clank is stunned by what just occurred, but remembers the advice that the plumber told him in his subconscious. He then uses the clock to reverse time just by 6 minutes, saving Ratchet's life. In this new timeline, Azimuth is able to reach the Orvis Chamber and activates it, forcing Ratchet and Clank to fight him. After realizing the existence of life itself was at stake, Azimuth decides to stop the Great Clock, ultimately sacrificing himself in the process. In the aftermath, the Zoni repair all the damages, and Clank promotes Sigmund to senior caretaker of the clock. Realizing that his friend means more to him than his family duties, the two depart once again, ready to tackle their next adventure. The 8th installment in the mainline series, Ratchet and Clank All for One, took a different direction than the other games throughout the series. Released on October the 11th, 2011, the title took a little bit of a nosedive when it came to reviews, scoring a 70 out of 100 on Metacritic and a 6.5 out of 10 on user reviews. The game starts off with President Captain Qwark receiving an Intergalactic Tools of Justice Award where he asks Ratchet and Clank to escort him. Dr. Nefarious shows up and awakens a light-eating Z-Groot, but the beast turns against the Doctor, and he then joins Ratchet and Clank and Qwark to try and stop it. After defeating Z-Groot, a drone comes and takes along with the 4 heroes. They awaken in a facility and are rescued by a new galactic scout named Susie. When they escape, they find out the drone is named Ephemeris, a creature collector. The drone takes the most dangerous creatures and brings them to a planet called Magnus. They then find a 5th holo diary of Dr. Frumpus Croyd, who says that whoever is controlling the Ephemeris has a plan for the monsters it collects. After learning through the diaries that Frumpus had a partner named Dr. Nevo, the group learns that Nevo had betrayed him, making the Ephemeris into what it is now, while also kidnapping Frumpus' companions, Mr. Dinkles. When the 5 meet up with Frumpus, they find out that he went insane and went on without Nevo's help to get the core of the Ephemeris. This is where they learn that Nevo never actually betrayed Frumpus, but it was actually Mr. Dinkles who was possessed by a Tornak spirit known as Master Loki. Loki revealed that Nevo was forced to do what he said by making him his pet. Loki then disclosed his plans to use all the collected beasts to become vessels for the Tormek spirits and destroy the universe. After Loki is defeated, Kronks and Zephyr come to rescue the heroes, only for Nefarious and his butler Lawrence to steal their ship and fly away. Thinking they are trapped, the group suddenly remembers that Ephemeris wasn't destroyed and use it to escape off the planet. In a final scene, Nefarious is shown looking at a picture he had taken with the 3 heroes and is saddened, showing that he did actually enjoy partnering up with them. Coming into the 9th installment of the main series, Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault came out November 27th, 2012. This game also had a bag of mixed to low reviews, scoring a 64 out of 100 on Metacritic and a 7.3 out of 10 for user scores. Now, this game starts off with Qwark being bored and having nothing to shoot at, but then receives a call from his enemy that several planetary defense centers are going to be taken by Grungarian marauders. To dispel the threat, Qwark resembles the Q-Force to stop this. After apprehending the marauders, it is revealed that the one behind their assault is Qwark's biggest fanboy, Stuart Zorgo. Once defending and saving all the centers, they then pinpoint Zorgo to planet Ibaro. Once in his lair, they defeat all of his traps and enter a mech battle with him. Once he is defeated, they subdue him and Captain Qwark accidentally throws him off of a bridge when they do a Go Q-Force chant, claiming that they should have practiced a little bit more. Now this then leads into the 10th installment of the mainline series, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, which returns to the formula of the older games. Released on November the 6th, 2013, the game received more positive reviews than the last 2 games, with it scoring a 76 out of 100 and a user score of 8.3 out of 10. Now again, the story starts off after the events of Full Frontal Assault. Ratchet, with the help of Kronk and Zephyr, take a prisoner named Venja Prague to a remote prison to serve her life sentence. Using her psychic powers to disable the ship's power, she's able to escape with the help of her twin brother, Neftin. They then blow up the ship, killing both Kronk and Zephyr, while Ratchet and Clank manage to escape on one of their ships toward the planet Urek. The duo is urged by Talwyn not to follow the twins on planet Urek, but Ratchet and Clank refuse, determined to avenge their fallen friends by capturing Vendra and Neftin. On their arrival, they meet a scientist named Pollux, who used to work for Dr. Nefarious. He reveals to the two that the twins kidnapped him for research on the Netherverse, an alternate world home to demonic beings known as Nethers. The Nether that Vendra referred to as Mr. I betrays the Progs and casts Vendra into the Netherverse. To save his sister, Neftin makes a deal with Ratchet and Clank, saying that he and his sister would turn themselves in if the duo saved Vendra. The two travel to a museum and retrieve a device called the Dimensionator, and Clank uses it to enter the Netherverse, freeing Vendra. With their combined strength, the Prog twins banish Mr. I and the rest of the Nethers back to their own dimensions before surrendering themselves to the authorities. Clank then takes the possession of the Dimensionator in hopes that he can use it to help Ratchet find any remaining traces of the Lombax race. Now, this is where Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart picks up. And that about wraps it up with Ratchet and Clank Retrospective. Guys, let us know in the comments which game in the series is your favorite, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to 5-9 Gaming. We'll most certainly be covering tons of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart information and all the content that drops with it when it releases, so you won't want to miss it. That's it. We appreciate your guys' time. Have a good one. Peace.